How has the Arakan Army been developing the network of alliances in Myanmar, and how has this shaped outcomes for the group in recent months?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah. And also, Sumon, thank you so much for that introduction. So first to clarify, this paper was about alliances and partnerships that the AA has formed since the 2021 coup. As Sumon mentioned in the background, the AA, it's from Rakhine, which is on the Bay of Bengal, was actually founded on the Chinese border in Kachin State. So alliance building has been in its DNA since the beginning. However, this paper was meant to look at the alliances formed in the past about 4 years at this point. These alliances have I've been mostly looking at the ones from neighboring regions and states. So Chin State to the north, Magwe, Bago, and Ayeyarwady to the east, and basically most of these groups, at least in Magwe, Bago, and Ayeyarwady, are ethnic Bama, young people who went from protesting the coup to taking up arms. And for many of them, the AA was probably a very logical patron in terms of getting training, supplies, shelter. I wasn't able to track down necessarily statements from each group about when they started working with the AA. But for example, one of them, the People's Independence Army, as early as 2022, they were getting training from the AA. So a lot of these relationships have been incubating for a very long time. Going away from the Bama regions to Chin State, the AA's main partner is the Chin Brotherhood, which is a coalition of 6 Chin armed groups, mostly in southern Chin State, which is really important to the AA because it's backdoor and also an Indian infrastructure project that is quite important to the AA, runs through areas close to the Chin Brotherhood. There's kind of different things to say about the Chin piece and the wider Bama resistance piece. On the Chin side, it's been very controversial because many Chin see the AA as an interloper into Chin State, but its alliance with the Chin Brotherhood has kind of enabled it to have some cover, so to speak, especially given that it occupies most of Paletwa Township, which is in Chin State, not Rakhine, and to many is basically an invasion. But by having local Chin partners, that does make that accusation a lot more complicated. The picture for the Bama resistance groups in Magwe, Ayeyarwady, and Bago looks much different. Its partners there don't control any territory. It's mostly guerrilla operations. And because the AA isn't kind of seizing anything that notable yet, like there hasn't been a similar kind of reflection or controversy in the public about what is the AA doing? Is it taking land for itself? That sort of thing. I'd say that these alliances are extremely important because they enable a different level of power projection than they would have otherwise. Something very interesting is that Sumon just mentioned that in the post-coup period, this isn't the first time that the informal ceasefire between the military and the AA broke down. It also broke down in 2022. I find it quite interesting that at least publicly, these armed groups were not involved in that round of fighting. And that would either suggest that their kind of capabilities were too nascent to be deployed, or the AA was waiting for a more opportune moment, which since November 2023, it appears it has been that moment. And the AA has been, at least, maybe not the AA itself, but it's been allowing its partners to post on social media about what they're doing, how they're supporting. The AA itself can be a very opaque black box. But what's interesting about this alliance network is these smaller groups have a lot of interest in advertising themselves, sometimes for diaspora donor support.